This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy Black Magus, and talking some more Star Wars Battlefront. Just wanted to do this video separately. Guess this is the old gamers rant because I probably am going to kind of go off a bit on this. But I'm going to try to keep it chill and try to keep it cool, calm, collective so that I could spit the facts and try to speak reasonably with you guys, because right now the internet is once again in a frenzied, unreasonable state, I should say, over the Battlefront announcement that there's no story-driven campaign. There is a single-player element. You will be playing missions. You can play these missions alone. They said they'll be specially crafted. I'm not sure what that means. Does that mean that they'll have nothing to do with the multiplayer missions? Are these like totally separate missions in totally different areas that you won't see on these multiplayers? Are they just cordoned off areas of the map that you would see? No real definitive information at the moment about that part. It will also be able to be played offline and online, co-op wise. So I think that's a pretty cool feature as well. Now, here's the thing about the being upset and complaining. And I know a lot of people are going to say, no, I'm wrong, but I actually decided to sit in for a couple of hours before recording this. I went through and looked up old Battlefront gameplay, because I remembered it not having a definitive campaign. And so when I heard how angry people were, I was like, but it never really had a campaign, did it? I always remembered it being some pseudo single player type stuff. And sure enough, it was what I remembered. Now, I don't think I played much Battlefront 2. I think I've only played Battlefront, the first one, mostly on PC. But I don't remember much about Battlefront 2. But I looked that up too, just to see what it is. And here's the deal. It is funny too, because when I first heard they're bringing back Battlefront, for some reason I kept relating it to a real-time strategy game that I used to play like crazy. Some of you are probably never going to understand this reference, because I honestly don't know if any of you were born when this game came out. It's not that old, but it's pretty old. It's a game called Close Combat, a real-time strategy game that Battlefront had always reminded me of, simply because of its quote-unquote campaign element, which was, with Close Combat, you would play a bunch of set pieces during World War II, and these maps, you would vie for control and all that, and then in between each map you would get like a cutscene that would go over history or tell you about the importance of this battle, so on and so forth. And you could pick a side. You could either be the Germans or you can be the US Army, and go through the objectives within the mode to win. Mostly the objective was just to take control of the map. Hey, sounds familiar? Battlefront. So that's why I always associate those two, because Battlefront was pretty much the same. You were thrown into an area that was pretty much the same as the single player, with the same scenario. You go in, you fight this big epic battle, you get as many kills as you can, and you try to control the map. For the most part, that was the Battlefront formula. You did the same thing online as well. So I think the only thing, I don't even remember there being cutscenes in the first one, but that was kind of the binding tie, because what they would do is they would take the multiplayer maps and string them together in sequence of when the events happen in the movie, so that they could kind of tell a story with it. But in reality, you're only playing maps just like Close Combat, because in Close Combat, when you play someone online, you are replaying these same maps. that you went through on the campaign. You were playing, the Normandy map or whatever, the final push to Berlin map, whatever, against someone else. Same thing with the first Battlefield. Now, the stuff I was looking at for 2, because I still don't think I played 2, or I didn't play it much. Pretty much the same thing, except for it was a little better structured single player campaign, in the sense that they fleshed out the objectives and things like that. Did the swap character thing a bit better. It wasn't just about dying and spawning a new character and all of that. They try to infuse as much story as possible, including a little better cutscenes in between each mission. So that one kind of put a little more emphasis on a campaign, but for the most part, you're doing the same things. You're doing pretty much the same objectives that you would have done in multiplayer, with some slight variants, and it's the same play style. Control these points, kill the enemies, yada yada yada. Simplistic, but for its time, complex enough, and still good games. Regardless, they were good games. Regardless, now we look at 2015 Battlefront. It's pretty much the same exact thing, but no one wants to see that, because it's like everybody feels like they're being cheated or robbed of the campaign. You're getting the same game, to be quite honest, as you got all those years ago with the original Battlefronts. It really isn't any big demonstrative difference. I mean, and please, people who feel like it is, please go back and look at footage of Battlefront 1 and 2, and please tell me that it ain't this one, the multiplayer, single player, they're the same, and that this current game is pretty much following down the same lines as that game. I really don't understand how people got it in their heads that there was this epic, huge, crazy story driven mode in the Battlefront games. It's crazy, and it's caused a huge outcry, huge howling across the internet. And I just wish people would just take a moment to stop, chill, and just think about it. The first 2 Battlefronts weren't that much different from what they detailed about this. Furthermore, we don't even have all the details of this. They gave us a little CGI trailer. They talked for an hour on the panel about how, it was to work on it. And you got little tidbits here and there from places like IGN and things like that, who didn't give a mass amount of detail on what they were told or what they experienced, in my opinion. So, chill out, relax. I really wish people would take a moment to catch their breath, calm down once they hear something. And that's the thing, with the IGN article, the first thing is there's no campaign in the small letters, but there is single player and co-op options. It's see, this is what get these people riled up, in a sense. You put something out that sounds really, really negative, and that's all they see. They go, blind with rage, and they rage on it, not really thinking about, hey, this isn't multiplayer only. This isn't Titanfall, as I've seen the joke go. People are fucking retarded with that shit. It's good lord, people. It's Battlefront. It's done in the tradition of Battlefront. It has always been done. I don't see what the commotion is. So I need people to actually look at the footage, read the articles, read the whole articles, do both, and then look at the old footage. And then, if you could convince me that there was some dynamic, epic campaign in the old Battlefront games, as opposed to just playing multiplayer by yourself with bots, for the most part, or vice versa. You had the quote-unquote campaign with bots, and then they transferred the same exact maps and layouts to the multiplayer. I don't think so, because the story and the quote unquote campaign, especially if two, pretty damn goofy now. It's just, again, they're just cutscenes. Just cutscenes to establish the connection to the previous mission and the latter, and just to give, like, especially with two had a habit of doing, like, I saw one where the guy flew up to the ship and he caught an objective and completed whatever objective he needed to do, and then they went into this long speech about, see, we did this, but it was Qui-Jen and Anakin who took the credit because they went on the ship after we cleared it out and saved the Chancellor, just a la beginning of episode 1 of Star Wars. So yeah, it is what it is. People, try to calm down, relax a bit. But anyway, as always, you guys hit me up, let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Black Makers, and I'm out. Deuces.